Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable, high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Hi there, good to be with you today. As I'm recording this, it is now 2026, so who knows when you're listening to this, but if you're listening to it on the day it comes out, which is the 12th of January 2026, this is my first podcast of the new year, so Happy New Year to you. And today I want to talk about what to do instead of goals. So before you set goals, maybe consider doing something slightly different, i.e. what I'm going to share. And I think part of my own evolution, I'm somebody who used to be, I used to never set goals when I was a teenager. I had my breakdown. I realized, I can set goals, and actually it's quite valuable. And that definitely helped. But then as it went along in time, I realized that there was limitations to the way goal setting is taught. I think you can get very myopic and just miss things. And so I'm going to suggest doing something here before you zone in on goals. Something that I call the 3 R's. And part of it as well will help counteract, I think, the loudness in the world. And the world, I think, does feel noisier and louder than ever. It's not just about being busy. It's just, there's a lot going on. I don't know, it's whether to do we're connected by technology, but it's just mentally crowded and noisy. There's more input, more distraction, maybe even more pressure to keep up. Throw in AI and all that goes with that, and sure, it just tips you over the edge. Well, hopefully not you. And beneath all of that noise, though, I think there's a quiet exhaustion that most people aren't talking about, but it is there. It's coming through in the research. I certainly hear about it when I'm talking to clients for the first time. And what I'm hearing again, as well, is that people don't want more information. We're living in a world where information is just overloaded. What people want is clarity, and they want results, and they want transformation. So I want to give you a very simple strategy, I guess, in a way, maybe today. I want to offer a way of I don't want to give you a strategy, the opposite of that. I want to give you a way of thinking, maybe, about the time ahead, the year ahead. Maybe a lens that can create space for you instead of more mental noise. And I think the core mistake that I think most people make, and I used to make it myself, was that they put themselves under pressure to jump into planning in December and January. Setting goals, resolutions, targets. And sure, I won't even get into it. You probably heard all over the media, how quickly resolutions fail. But if your mind is cluttered, your plans and your goals inherit and get tainted by that clutter. And so we're planning from tension most of the time, or from lack. And then we wonder why the plan that we've set feels heavy or forced or just slightly wrong, just off. And what I've learned myself is that clarity doesn't come from speed. It actually comes from space. Not space, the final frontier, but inner space. So I mentioned the 3 R's, and I want to kind of give these to you, as I say, as a lens, as opposed to even a system or framework. It's to be held lightly. It's not something that you force yourself to do. It's something that you kind of sit with, you digest, you stew on it. And so let's talk about the first R, which is review. Now, review is about looking back into the past in a certain way. It's not about judging the past, about, what didn't I get done and what went wrong? It's more about bringing fresh eyes so that you can see clearly about the past. And a lot of people, I think, review the year gone by scanning for what is missing or what didn't happen, or as I said, what went wrong. But when you slow down and clear your lens, clear your eyes, something else can emerge. And you can help that by, I'm going to give you 2 questions today. First one is, where did you make progress over the last 12 months? Like, where did you actually make progress in both personal and your professional life? And as you go through that, then just reflect on that and say, okay, the second question is, what did last year teach me about myself? Like, what did I learn? What did I learn about myself? And in my experience, most people forget how much they've grown because they're too busy measuring themselves against this imaginary standard that they've set for themselves, usually unconsciously. And so if you review well, it doesn't create an internal pressure or a feeling of lack or not good enough. It actually gives you the most valuable thing of all, which is perspective. Good, solid, clear perspective. So that's the first R, review. The second R is reflect. Now, reflect, like if review is about the past, reflection is more about probably the present and looking inward a little bit on yourself. And this is where you have the opportunity to soften things a little bit. So a couple of questions here. You could ask, one of my favorite questions is, well, what's true for me now? What's true for me now? In terms of my family, my relationships, my health, my business, the economy, what I like to do, what I feel I'm called to, like what's true for me now? Get a reality check. Give yourself the gift of saying, no, hang on, what is reality? The second question is, maybe what am I tired of just carrying? What do I need to let go of? And what do I maybe want more of? What's calling me? Reflection is incredibly powerful. And in the busy world and busy world that we're in, reflection, unfortunately, is becoming a lost skill. And in my experience, we don't lack answers. We have them inside ourselves. We have them in our intuition. What we're lacking is a quiet mind. Because when your mind quietens, then wisdom comes in. And you see, wisdom isn't noisy, it's not loud, it actually whispers away all the time. And you only really get a chance to hear it when you move into a quieter mind that's more reflective. It's incredibly powerful. And you've heard me probably speak about it before in this podcast, but I believe reflection is a skill that is learnable, but is absolutely essential for this time that we're in to get the most out of yourself, but also to stay aligned to what's true for you. And then the third R, so we've done review, reflect, and now the third R is redirect. And redirection is about, okay, well, where am I going to point the arrow? And that comes after clarity, not before. So it's getting that inner clarity. Most people, in my experience, will plan their future through the lens of the past. So they're thinking about, I suppose, their identity, what they believe is going to make them happy or successful. They realize that is all in their mind in the past, held in their memory, their self-belief, their image, their identity. And then that dictates their future. But what if there's a bigger, brighter, more alive future for you that maybe it's been held back by the past? Because that's actually the truth in my experience. It's a really important area that probably requires a deeper dive, even as I'm talking it through. Because the most alive decisions don't come from your memory. They don't come from the past. They come from a present, alive, inspired vision. So there's only one question I'm going to give you here, which is, what would you love to create if you weren't negotiating with your fear or with your history, your past? What would you love to create? It's such a powerful question, but it's not always the easiest thing to sit in. I'm aware of that. Give yourself the gift of what would I love to do without limitations around me? And that's where I'm going to stop on the 3 R's. It's not necessarily a plan. It's just a series of, as I say, kind of a lens with 3 areas with some subtle questions. And let's bring it back to you. That for me, this isn't about productivity. It's really about getting the best out of yourself. It's about bringing out that sense of, yes, achievement is good, but not at the expense of your aliveness, of your sense of satisfaction, enjoyment, fulfillment, purpose. Because I've worked with too many people, and I've done it myself, where you can win on the outside, but still feel very lost on the inside. And that is not a nice feeling. And in my experience, part of what I'm saying is that when your mind settles and you can learn to quieten your mind, the direction actually becomes obvious. It's not forced. It's not over-engineered. It just becomes obvious. So let me just close out by giving you an invitation as well, actually, because if some of this resonates and you'd like to go deeper, there's no doubt about it, with what I've just shared, you can actually get some great insights. But if you'd like to do it with me in person, I'm running a one-day event literally around those 3 R's this coming Friday, the 16th of January. And it's my first in-person kind of start of a year workshop, if you want to call it that, for about 7 or 8 years. I haven't done them for a while. I feel called to do it this year. So it's going to be fun. People will get a lot out of it. It's not about productivity. It's not about time management. It's not even about changing the world. It's more about changing your inner world in a way that kind of gives you clarity from your own intuition, from your own wisdom. So it's called Create. It's going to be a very human day, non-tech day. It'll be a bit fun. It'll be light, but it'll be very impactful because it's going to give people time for quiet, You'll be connected and talking to like-minded people. You'll have guided reflection and some extra bits, well, quite a few extra bits other than what I'm sharing here. And most of all, no rush. And if something in this particular audio resonated, maybe you'll join me. The details will be in the show notes around this. There's a link somewhere. But whether you come or not doesn't really matter. My invitation, I guess, is simple. Don't rush into this year with a noisy mind. Don't rush into your future with a noisy mind. You know, what might become clear to you if you just stopped long enough to listen from a clearer space inside, listen from your own intuition, from your wisdom. And other than that, don't know if you're somebody who's been listening to me for a while, thanks for being on the journey. There's some new things to come in 2026 in terms of what I'm going to offer people, but there's more to come on that. And I wish you a happy, healthy and prosperous 2026. Ciao.